What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Mydei. Well, not about Mydei, but the character Mydei, the 5-star destruction character, who's also imaginary, similarly to Danghang Birbidalune. But don't worry, they have nothing in common. They work nothing alike. And in this video, we're going to be calculating a little bit of his damage, or what his damage is going to be looking like, as well as what type of character he is going to be. So if you enjoy this type of content, let me know by liking the video, leave it in the comment section below, and consider subscribing to the channel. Again, shout out to my channel members. That's enough yapping. Let's get right into the video. As I said before, Mydei is an imaginary destruction character, which means he's going to be dealing blast damage, similarly to Birbidalune, who's imaginary as well. But the difference is that he is more like Blade, and he scales off his max HP, and he actually has a lot of max HP because he has the single highest base HP in the game. So all of his attack is scaling off HP. So, you know, his basic attack is going to deal, I think it's 50% of his max HP in imaginary damage. But since he has a very high amount of HP, 50% is actually a very good number, similar to like a regular 100% basic attack, essentially. Before we talk about Mydei's skills, since he has 3 of them, we have to understand the talent. The talent is, it helps him increase his damage depending on how much HP he has lost. He's going to gain what is called a charge at a 1-to-1 clip. So if he loses 1% HP, he's going to gain 1% charge. When this charge gets to 100%, meaning that he's lost 100% of his HP, which normally would mean that he dies, but he also heals himself for 25%, and also you want to run him with healers to prevent him from dying. However, whenever you get to 100% charge, he's going to enter what is called the vendetta state, and he's going to advance himself 100%, so he's going to take a turn. Now, while he's in this vendetta state, he is going to increase his max HP by 50%. So let's say you had 10k HP, now you're going to have 15k HP. So you get a massive HP bonus. However, your defense goes all the way down to 0, and you cannot increase it by any means. At the same time, he's also going to taunt himself, so it's going to make him the target of pretty much every attack. This allows him to take more damage, meaning he's going to charge his state a lot faster. While he's in the vendetta state as well, he cannot use his basic attack, and he unlocks his enhanced skill. And this is a good segue to talk about his skill. So his normal skill is going to drain 50% of his HP and then hit the enemies with a multiplier based on his max HP. The important part here, aside from the damage, is going to be that he drains 50% HP, which means this is going to give him 50% charge. His normal skill is going to give him 50% charge. So in theory, if you use this skill twice, you're going to be able to go into your vendetta state. Now, once you're in your vendetta state, you have access to your enhanced skill. So instead of draining yourself 50% HP, you're going to drain yourself 35% HP. But remember, you got a 50% HP increase. So the 35% that you drain from your enhanced skill is going to be relatively the same amount of health that you get from your normal skill, because now you have 50% extra health. And again, the purpose of the normal skill and the enhanced skill is to give you more charge, give you more HP lost, and this is going to be called the tally. The tally is the amount of HP lost. So you want to use your normal skill, you want to use your enhanced skill to raise up your tally. So tally is kind of like the same thing as Blade. So Blade, whenever he drains himself HP or he gets hit, he kind of gets a snapshot of how much HP he has lost, and whenever he does the ultimate, he's going to use that amount of HP and scale his damage based off that. So Mydei is doing something similar. So he's taking snapshots of how much HP he has lost via his E skill or normal skill or getting hit, and he's going to store that damage away. That number is going to be stored somewhere, because that's the number that's going to be used to calculate his big enhanced skill. So the enhanced skill can only be done when you take 180% of your max HP. Let's say you have 10k HP. When you enter Vendetta, you go to 15k HP. So whenever you take about 27,000 damage, which is about 180% of 15,000, you're going to have access to your big enhanced skill, and that is going to deal damage based off his max HP and how much damage he has taken. So he's going to take off from both. So he's going to do essentially the same as his regular enhanced skill, and then add on top of it extra damage based on the amount of HP he has taken or he has lost. And that's essentially his gameplay loop. You want to use your normal and your enhanced skill to drain his HP, aside from getting hit by enemies, because he actually taunts the enemy, so he gets hit more. And then once you've taken enough damage, you get access to your big enhanced skill, which is going to take a multiplier from his max HP and then a multiplier from the max HP that he has lost. So that's pretty much it. This is going to be his big nuke attack. This is going to be his biggest damage number, but he also has an ultimate. So his ultimate is just a regular HP scaling attack, it's going to heal him for 15% HP. So it's going to heal 50% HP of his health, and then deal, I think it's 160 to the main target and 100% to the adjacent target. So it's going to hit this guy for 160 and then these two guys for 100. And at the end of it, you're going to up your charge by 30%. It's going to give you 30 charge. So that means that once you get it to about 70% charge, if you have your ultimate, you're going to be able to get 100% charge and then go into your Vendetta state. Or if you're missing some charge to launch your big skill, then you're going to be able to cover 30% with that ultimate. So hopefully I made sense of what he does. He also gives himself a lot of crit rate. He gives himself about 48% crit rate based off his max HP, but we're going to do a little calculations about that a little bit later on in the video. And then the one thing that he does that's really cool, that is if he dies on the Vendetta state, he actually doesn't die. He revives and he heals himself by 35% of his HP. So he's really self-sustainable in that sense. Hopefully I didn't make that too difficult to understand. Let me know in the comment section below if you need any further explanation about his kit. I'll probably respond to your comments later on. All right, moving on to the calculation portion of the video. His base HP, like I said, is really high, 1552. Light cone, 1058. He has an HP, this is 18% here for the HP trace. The light cone boost is actually 24% because we are using the Ninja Record Sound Hunt. Light cone is one of the newer light cones that we've received. We are running him on the Longevous Disciple, which gives us 12% HP and about 16% crit rate. And because he consumes his own HP, this is going to trigger pretty much all the time. You're going to have 16% crit rate active all the time. And then this is Fleet of the Ages because he gives us max HP. But this is actually in instead of the newer set that we may or may not get. That's going to give us some crit damage as well as max HP. But for now, we're just going to give Fleet of the Ageless for the 12% max HP. Moving down over here, Light Cone boost 24%. We're running on speed boots. You could run HP boots as well because he does action advance himself pretty often depending on how much you get hit. His orb, you kind of want to run HP orb because the higher the HP, the better he's going to perform, the more damage he's going to do. Similarly, the rope is going to be an HP rope as well. Because of obvious reasons, he scales off HP, and his energy regen, he's going to be getting a lot of hits because he taunts, so he's going to get a lot of energy from getting hit and also from performing attacks, advancing his actions. And one of his best partners is actually Sunday because of the energy regeneration. So you don't really need energy regen rope for him. You do get 705 flat HP from the head, and right now we have 0 in subs, 0 in relic, and planar says actually this is not correct. We actually get 12% here, and we actually get 24 because it's 12 from Fleet of the Ageless and 12 from Longevous Disciple. And then we have no buffs and then 0 in buffs because we're not going to calculate how much Lynx or Fushuan are going to give him, even though they both work fantastically with him. But I'll make a separate teams video later on. As far as damage sources, we really don't have much damage sources. He doesn't have any traces. We're not running the orb. None of the relic sets work. The Light Cone doesn't give you any damage bonuses. It only gives you about 36% crit damage. So let's put that in there. So this tells us that he really wants allies that are going to up his damage bonus. And now for the total crit that we need to max out his talent is going to be roughly 8,000 HP. So to get this from where we are right now, we're going to need about 40% in subs or something like that. Yeah, we're going to need, let's see, 30%. Yeah, so we're going to need about roughly 30% in subs to max out the talent, giving us 48% crit rate. So just by having the talent and the relics, you're already sitting at 64%. Now, if you add a little bit of subs, or if you run him with Sunday, Sunday's going to give you 20% more. So let's just assume we're going to run him with Sunday. It's going to give you 20%. Oh, crap, 20% more. So now you're at 84. So we could just leave it at 84 for now. And then Sunday is going to add you about 72 extra crit damage, give or take. You know, if he has 200 crit damage, Sunday's going to give you about 72% extra crit damage to your whoever you decide to skill on. So this will put it at 108, I think. Yep, 108. Sunday also gives you 30% damage bonus here. So let's just go with the Sunday team up because most people are going to be running him with Sunday anyway. And essentially this is what we get. We're running him at 8,000 normal HP. In Vendetta, he's going to be reaching about 12,000 HP, which is really impressive. You can obviously get this higher if you run boots. Obviously, you're going to be running him at about 13k HP, and it can get higher if you run his signature light cone, and if you run characters like Lynx or Fushuan, you can get this up to about 16,000 HP depending on your rolls. So Very, very high HP character. So we actually haven't added the chest, and this guy wants a crit damage chest because you don't need that much crit rate on him since he gives himself so much. This is going to bring it to about 172 plus the 50. You're already sitting at 122% crit damage. You haven't even taken into consideration other supports and anything of the sort. So let's say you're going to put a light cone on Sunday. It's going to be the signature light cone. We're going to test it with that. It's going to be 75% damage bonus instead of 30. And now since Mydei doesn't stack with attack, you can disregard the Lushaka and use the Penacony set, which gives us an extra 10%. So that's going to make it 85. Now at the moment, just Mydei by itself with Sunday, you are sitting at an 84 crit rate with 222 crit damage, 185 damage bonus, and then you are sitting at around 13,000 HP. And these are the damage numbers that I am getting right now. These are the totals. So the skill is going to be doing about 50k, enhanced skill 67k, and then the enhanced skill with all the extra damages hitting the adjacent targets is going to be hitting for about 176k. For what it is, just Sunday and Mydei by itself, 176k is pretty good. I'm not gonna hold you, it's pretty good. It's not game breaking good, but it's really, really strong. And this is calculating the tally at 180. A lot of the times, actually not a lot of times, most of the times the tally is not going to be 180 and is going to be more than 180, because whenever you get to 180 damage taken, you are going to advance yourself 50%. So what happens if you advance yourself 50% and you don't take a turn, and then your enemies are still taking turns and you get hit more? That tally is going to continue going up and up and up and up and up until Mydei takes the turn. And then once Mydei takes a turn, whatever number that is, it is going to scale this part of the damage based off the amount of damage taken. So if you take 250% of the damage taken, this is going to scale off that. So hopefully that makes sense. It triggers the action advance on 180% damage taken. However, the damage itself does not cap at 180% damage taken. So hopefully that's making sense. Obviously these numbers can go way up depending on what support you actually choose to play. And also I'm calculating this with the Longevous set, but you could also run the Secretos set, the newer set that we have currently in the game, that buffs skill damage. That can also be a very good set. I'm going to make a full guide video whenever everything is said and done, and I'll get you the actual numbers for the Longevous set versus the Secretos set, so don't worry about that. These are all just preliminary calculations based on preliminary numbers that are not fully fledged out, and then there are going to 100% end up changing by the end of his release, or by the time he releases, guys. So another caveat about Mydei that I have to mention is that once you enter your Vendetta state, you cannot control the character. He is on autoplay the entire time he is in Vendetta, so you have no control over what targeting you have. So I don't know why they did it like this. I mean, I guess it's cool, maybe, but I mean, I always like choice. And if I have the choice, I want to pick what I want to kill. But he kind of like takes that away from me. So again, the numbers by themselves, this is just with Sunday. And the reason I picked Sunday is because he's definitely his best in slot partner right now. Maybe if we get an HP buffing character or HP buffing harmony character in the future, maybe that'll be better for him. But for right now, Sunday is the one that's going to be the best. We could add a bunch of stuff in here, but there's too many things to add because at the end of the day, he's just a regular hyper carry character. So at the end of the day, characters that don't buff attack, that just buff damage bonus, rest pen, vulnerability, stuff like that are probably going to end up being very good with Mydei, as well as sustained characters like Lynx and Fu Xuan that buff HP, crit damage, and stuff like that are also going to be very good with Mydei. I know it seems a little counterintuitive to run Fu Xuan because you are going to be taking less damage with Fu Xuan. However, he does have a talent that whenever the enemies hit you, the amount of HP loss is boosted by 250%. So whatever amount they hit you with, so let's say they hit you with 1,000 damage, the tally is going to take 2,500 damage instead of 1,000 damage. So I think that kind of makes up for running Fu Xuan alongside with him. I think that's why they did it, so you're able to run Fu Xuan with him, because if you only run Fu Xuan Sunday, if you run Fu Xuan and Sunday with Mydei, you already have like 90% crit rate, because Fu Xuan gives you 12, Sunday gives you 20, he gives himself 48, so that we can actually do that. So 30 you're sitting at 94 total crit if you run Fu Xuan and Sunday on the same team with Mydei, and you'll max out his talent with the Longevous Disciple. So you can actually get rid of this, and if you have enough substats to get through it, you can actually run a different set. You don't have to run Longevous Disciple set. So, you know, there's a lot of things you can do here, but if you run the Longevous Disciple, you're already sitting at 94% crit rate, so you don't really have to run any crit rate subs if you run Fu Xuan and you run Sunday at the same time with Mydei. So, and you guys already know I'm a Fu Xuan simp. Like, I love Fu Xuan. She's one of the greatest characters I ever pulled for in my account. So I will be running Fu Xuan with my Mydei. I run Fu Xuan with my Blade, and it works fine. Like, I'm able to clear just fine. So that's another thing you can do as well. Preliminarily, I'm not going to say he's game breaking or anything like that. He does do a lot of damage, and he has the possibility of dealing incredible, insane amounts of damage if he is set up correctly and against the right enemies and using the correct teams as well. His damage potential could be very, very high. Again, I want to reiterate, this is very, very early on. All of these things are subject to change. He's probably going to end up getting changed at some point. So don't hold on to this that I'm saying right now to heart too deeply. He will end up getting changed eventually. So let me know what you guys see in the comment section below. And until next time, guys. See ya.